You guys have heard me talk about Watch Dogs Legion on a number of occasions here on the YouTube channel, and that's because, guys, number one, I am a fan of the Watch Dogs franchise, even though, the first couple of games, maybe they didn't hit in every category or in every way that we may have hoped as fans of this franchise, but I have a lot of hope for Watch Dogs Legion, which I'll get to here in a sec. Even though, guys, there's at this point in time, it's hard to say when this game is going to be coming out. Once again, because of the pandemic and such. So, what I want to talk about in this second segment of the show, I want to talk about Watch Dogs Legion and everything that we want in this game. And when I say we, guys, I mainly am talking about myself. And there may be things, though, that you actually agree with, some things you may disagree with. Let me know what you guys think and what the things that you want to see in Watch Dogs Legion. So let's get right into it, guys. Obviously, Watch Dogs Legion, guys, just the setting from the reveal trailers and from the setting itself, post-Brexit, London and such. This is a place and pretty much a town in which, in an area where I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for exploration. I think there's going to be a lot more to do in, say, post-Brexit London. I think that there's going to be some very special elements of this game. And I just do, guys. I feel as a full package deal, I think that Watch Dogs Legion is going to do exactly that. And here's the thing. They're calling it Watch Dogs Legion. They're not calling it Watch Dogs 3. Now, it's been confirmed that Watch Dogs Legion, guys, is a sequel to Watch Dogs 2. But the fact that they're calling it Watch Dogs Legion and not Watch Dogs 2 leads me to believe one main thing. That is that they are going all in on Legion. They're basically saying, look, we are going to make this the best game that we possibly can. We are not going to plan on making a continuation. We want to just make Watch Dogs Legion the best it can possibly be. Because the thing about Watch Dogs 1 and Watch Dogs 2, even though some people loved them, some people hated them, the fact of the matter was that it felt like the developers, that being Ubisoft, deciding to it made it seem like they would try to continue making this a series of games that would come out over time, instead of trying to really just focus and hone in on one particular game here in the franchise, trying to really build a foundation for this franchise. I mean, if you go on Twitch, guys, you go on some of these other streaming platforms and you look at how many people are watching Watch Dogs content or people streaming the game, it's very minimal. This is a franchise, guys, that needs something that's really going to boost everything. It's going to boost the fan base. It's going to continue to build upon the legacy and the lore that they started with the first two Watch Dogs, whether that be positive or negative in your personal opinions. I think Watch Dogs Legion is going to hit on a number of different areas. So the number one thing, guys, that obviously I want in Watch Dogs Legion is a full-blown open world setting. I want to be able to, even if it's semi-open world, I want to have a lot of opportunity to explore, really take in this entire, all the environments and really take things in as you go, whether it's through your first playthrough of the single player story, or it's, playing it over and over again and being able to check out different things as you go. So an open world setting, guys, I think is very important for Watch Dogs Legion. I think we are going to get that as well. Something that's like a full-blown open world. I would love to see that. Number two, guys, would be, look, I want to be surprised with the story. I really do. I do want it to kind of tie in to the other Watch Dogs games, but I'm more okay with it being like its own thing, its own story. Has nothing to really even do with the other two games. Overall, maybe it ties in some way or another at the end of the story. I kind of want it just to be its own thing. I think that's the most important thing, and I feel like that's where they're going with, it being called Watch Dogs Legion. The next thing, guys, I think we all can agree with is a multiplayer experience or multiple multiplayer experiences that we, of course, will come back to over and over again, right? I think that they've added some very interesting modes and, of course, Watch Dogs 2. But I just think that they didn't land well for everyone. I think maybe having some traditional game modes, from even other games, and Ubisoft has tons of other IPs that they own. So having maybe some other, modes that feel more traditional to some of Ubisoft's games would be good. And then some of Watch Dogs' very own, game modes in multiplayer, I think would be really, really good as well. So having just more ways that we can connect with this franchise and having multiple game modes, not just a couple game modes, having multiple game modes that we can play in a multiplayer setting. And it really looks like, guys, when you look at just the trailers, you look at all of the different wallpapers that have come out and images of Watch Dogs Legion, this looks like a game primed for cosmetic items. Not necessarily talking monetization, even though that's probably going to be in there, but I'm talking about earnable and unlockable, types of items for your characters and such. Hopefully, most of these are, things that you earn over time throughout playing the multiplayer, playing the story mode, playing some co-op modes, which we'll get to here in a sec. Having ways in which that you can customize, but more than that, it's actually earning stuff, not necessarily having just to pay for those things in monetization tactics that lots of these companies have come up with. I would love to have some earnable items that you can earn in-game that are very prestigious, and like shows your rank or whatever the case might be, whether they're emblems or, titles or whatever it might be, guys. Ways in which you build reason to continue playing the multiplayer experiences in Watch Dogs Legion, I think is really important. Think of Call of Duty. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 had, you would get to the 10th prestige, which it took a while to get there, unless you boosted, which obviously, guys, nowadays, that's not something that really happens in today's titles, which is a very good thing, by the way. But getting to that 10th prestige and then getting the 10th prestige medallion took a long time, guys. And when you finally earned those things and you got it, it felt like a real achievement. So things of that nature in Watch Dogs Legion, when we're talking from a multiplayer perspective, would be great. And the same could be said with the single player story, finding different collectibles or, whatever it might be, secrets within the world and even Easter eggs would be absolutely awesome. Now, the next thing, guys, in my opinion, is having multiple co-op modes, having ways in which not only can I do a single player story, I could maybe even do it as a co-op story. Playing the multiplayer with your friends is always fun as well, but also having side quests, or more than that, having like co-op modes in which you can play with your friends just on your own, whether it's online or just, playing with your friends in like a split screen setting, or just playing with local friends. I think that's really important for any series out there, guys. Once again, I'll bring up Call of Duty just because we're at it, and I talked about Modern Warfare. Having, multiple modes in Call of Duty, even from a co-op perspective, like Spec Ops or Zombies, or, there are lots of different modes, even like Warzone, which is the Battle Royale mode in Call of Duty. And I'm not saying that Watch Dogs should have a Battle Royale, but the idea here is that you have multiple ways to connect with the franchise. So when you're done playing the single-player story, it's not that you play that a couple of times and you move on to another game. No, you beat that single player story. You maybe play it one or two other times after that on a higher difficulty or something. And then you also can play co-op modes with your friends, play multiplayer by yourself or with other people. Just multiple ways, guys, that you can connect with the franchise. And over time, guys, this scene can significantly grow, in my opinion. I think it's going to also come down to content creators and streamers streaming the game, creating content around the game. I think that's really important. There are guys who do that at this point, but I think it's really important for this game to really go to the next level. It needs to really set more of a foundation with the Watch Dogs IP, and I think having a ton of ways that you can connect with this franchise is going to be a really good way in doing that, because it helps content creators create lots of different types of content, helps streamers come back and keep on playing the game, and I think it just all in all it works and helps everybody. But at the end of the day, guys, if the game is really good, it's going to show. If it's not good, well, then it's going to be a lot harder. But at the end of the day, I think this is going to be a really special title by Ubisoft. I really do. And I hope that there aren't like a ton of monetization, tactics and such in it. Like I said, Monetization tactics never really bothered me individually, but I know it's affected many people out there. And so I hope that if they do it in a completely fair way that isn't deceptive to the consumer, that being us as the players, and no pay to win kind of tactics or anything of that sort. That is, obviously, guys, what we want. But it would be nice just not have those things at all, right? But we'll see what happens. But let me know, guys, in the comment section below, do you guys agree or do you disagree about the things that I brought up about Watch Dogs Legion? What things do you want to see in this upcoming title? Let me know. And for more Watch Dogs Legion content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.